for my project, or for my recomposition, I really wanted to focus on the whole idea of how basically her theme was that you get famous by basically knowing someone or having someone put you out there or putting yourself out there. And this journalist helped this guy get famous because he compared him to Michelangelo. And everyone knows who Michelangelo is. He shaped the art world. He created all these art styles, all these different things. And yeah, so when you compared him, or when he got compared to Michelangelo, everyone had to research him. Everyone had to get to know who this artist was. So for my recomposition, mainly Professor McCoy, she used journalism as a way to put out the story. And her story wasn't just a story. It was a nonfiction story where it was basically a story of these artists, and they're getting discovered, and it was based on facts. She used her credibility of having a PhD, being a professor, going to college, and being educated. And you can tell that when you look at her works cited or bibliography. You can tell like she has all her sources. She did all of her research and things of that nature. So yeah, for the recomposition, she really just put herself out there, and she decided that she was going to use journaling in chronological order. That was kind of a pattern I noticed for her journal. She used like facts, and she put them in like time and like database, and it was basically like a timeline just in story form, because it showed, like, you can see where it's talking about the 1800s, and it just kind of moved on up, I guess. And you can just tell that she put a lot of thought into that, and how she was going to tell the story of how things happened and how events played out in her paper or journal. Basically, a journal is different from an article, because a journal is more of the truth, and is these people, like, they're like news broadcasters. They go and they follow these stories. Unlike articles, anyone can write an article. Like, you hear all these teen articles and all these pop articles and things of that nature. So yeah, and really, I mainly want to focus on asking McCoy not even about the topic itself of these artists and things like that. I didn't want to focus on art history as her genre. It was more of the journal itself, and why she chose a journal, not an article. What inspired her to even pick that topic. Even though it's not about the topic, that helps shape her journal. Also, why did she start writing it in the first place? And does she plan on going more forward with it and making it into a book, or bringing it, or even for journals, you can have different types of journals, or have the same journal, just different volumes, because that's how journals work. That's how it's different than articles. So yeah, I really wanted to focus on that. So going forward with the whole video, really, when me and my partner got together, we both picked each other because we both are art students. We both are pursuing art. We're trying to. So we started with the whole idea of art history. She picked art history. Why? She's an art teacher. Why does she love art? Because who doesn't love art? But really, then we got into noticing that it was more about the bibliography. So we went from art, talking about art history, and the whole idea of Michelangelo, this artist who got discovered, all of that, into the bibliography. It's kind of a bibliography of this man's life, Rodin's life. It was the bibliography of his whole life, and how he started out as like this nobody and kind of grew because of other artists, and him getting compared to Michelangelo and all of that. And then it got brought into the whole idea of it being a journal, and how she wrote a journal telling the story of his life, so a fiction story of his life about art, which is the theme, if that's making any sense. So I went forward and then kind of showed you guys backwards how it kind of plays out. Comparing poems to journals was a big part in letting you guys see the idea of poems can have nonfiction also, and like a lot of people write them about. I know I used to read a lot in high school about poems that deal with slavery and like race and all these like actual fiction or nonfiction things, but also a lot of times poems drag onto emotion and how you feel about things. So it starts out as an emotional like grabber, while journals, they normally use like a quote or something subtle to kind of bring you in. But also journals will develop your emotion. So you read the journal and then you develop an emotion, while poems, you automatically get an emotion from it, if that makes any sense. And then also articles, they're more based articles can be based on pretty much anything. They can be based on fiction, nonfiction, while journals are mostly nonfiction because they're like true, because it's a bunch of journalists creating and writing and researching. And that's the main thing with it. Journals, you research and research and research so much stuff, while articles, anyone can write an article on a celebrity or on this and that, while journals are completely different, and otherwise, it takes more out of you. It takes more research and has more, you need to have more credibility in order to get your journal out there, unlike an article, because anyone can type an article on the interweb and insert it in, and people just go crazy over it, like all this like little fake, this person is dating who kind of things and all that stuff. While journals is more based on the facts, and a lot of times they do their research, they have their PhD and all of that, and they have their, they're just more credible and more reliable. It's a more of a reliable source. That's the word I'm mainly looking for. So, yeah. Now, overall for my whole experience, I guess I'll talk about this. I can talk about this for a while because, honestly, this semester was not it. One, I look a hot mess because I'm a head cashier at a grocery store, and Corona has officially killed me. It has been hard. But this whole experience was hard for me because I felt there was a lack of communication, which was really difficult, and that's just something I felt. I don't know if anyone else felt it, but I know I did. I just felt kind of isolated. I am such a hands-on deck person. I need to be in a classroom doing something. Like, even at work, I have to be hands-on, even though they're trying to put me in the office a lot, which I don't mind having a break, but I still, I need to be hands-on, and not having to show up for class was really hard because I feel like I can, if you tell me in person something's due, I'm going to know when it's due. I'm going to be able to communicate. I'm a communicate face-to-face type of person. Like, doing things over the phone and internet is not good. Also, if I do try to communicate outside, doesn't mean other people will try, like other professors. Like, I could not get a hold of McCoy for anything. After the only thing I got from her was just the email, like, yep, we can have an appointment. Here it is. And then Corona happened, and we couldn't go to the school or do anything. And then after that, she just kind of ditched me and my partner and didn't want to talk to us and did not want to do the interview, like, basically. So I feel like it was really hard. And then the lack of communication, I feel like I should have received emails like every week is how I feel, or every like a few days. But that's not how it happens. And honestly, QQV was very hard to understand. QQV was very hard to understand. And I feel like it didn't give me enough notifications and reminders of when things were due. And a lot of times you had to go to the classroom and look at the assignments to see what was due instead of it being on the calendar and things like that. So that was very difficult. But also the experience showed me that I can be independent, which I like. But enough about the actual aspect of the class. I guess more of the project. I found it helpful to actually, like, get out of my comfort zone and research things I would never really research. Like, I would have never thought to look up a professor and look up what they've written and what they've, like, done. Like, I see a professor and I'm like, oh, that's just a professor that I have. Like, I don't think of them like their personal lives. And obviously, that's something McCoy did out of her personal life, even though it does interfere with work. It's something she did out of her personal life, and I thought it was really helpful to kind of learn more about the teacher and the professor and all that. Also, I learned a lot about this artist. I never knew who Rodin is, and I know a lot about art, and I love listening to art and, like, watching art and videos and the education of it. But also, art history has been a class I struggle in just because it's just facts, and I just don't like memorizing facts. I like being in art studios and being more hands-on and doing more projects and things like that than just kind of sitting back and just listening to teachers talk. So this was kind of helped me engage more in art history and learn more about art history, which I like. And it really helped me research more because I just don't research enough. I don't try to educate myself. Once I know something, I'm like, okay, that's it. That's all I need to know, kind of. And I'm pretty sure you can tell that by how I write. I'm just kind of like, I'm very plain Jane. This is how it is. I don't like to go in depth or do any of that, honestly. It's not me. So, yeah, it was really hard, this course, because of everything that was going on. I guess that's the only way you can describe it. But also, like, overall, the experience wasn't bad. Like, I loved being more independent and having the freedom. It helped me grow more as a person. I got to grow in my job that I have right now, and I got promoted, which is nice. But also, it was hard because I feel like I did not learn as much as I could. That was the hardest part for me, is I'm going to college and working hard and basically being full-time student and full-time career working at a store. So it was really hard for me to balance everything out, especially because I was having to put in 70 hours a week for work and stuff and didn't get no days off because of everything. And it was really hard to get the hang of everything, but also the experience really showed me I am independent and stuff, but also I miss being in class because I'm very hands-on deck type of person. But yeah, overall it wasn't a horrible experience, I guess. So yeah, I really don't know what else you want me to talk about. I'm sorry. Just gonna go over what you want. I'm prepared, but nah, I'm camera shy. But yeah, my writing process, I kind of relate to her in the writing process since, yeah, I just relate to her as a person. Like, I am very plain Jane. I do my outline, I do a little bit of research, and then I just write. That's just kind of how I am. I feel like that's how a lot of art history teachers are, but they're way more knowledgeable than I am about a lot of the stuff. So, obviously, they go more in depth than me, which I can notice. And the difference between art writing, you can tell Claire McCoy is, like, so in depth. Like, she knows what she's talking about. Like, if you were to give me that topic, I would do, like, the bare minimum. Like, huh? Like, what is this? Like, because it's just not something I'm passionate about. But you can tell she's passionate, which I think we have two different, like, aspects of when comparing myself to her and her writing style. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It was nice having you as a professor, even though I barely got to see you. And, yeah, I'm sorry if I seem a hot mess. Sorry. Hope you enjoy. Yeah, bye.